Hi, everybody. I'm here to do my 20 favorite horror movies from the 1990s. My 20. This is part 1. It's going to be from 20 to 11. Next video would be 10 to 1. I'm not going to do them in any order for preference. I'm going from the earliest to the latest. So let's jump right in. The first on my list is Stephen King's It. This was the one with Harry Anderson, John Ritter, Jonathan Brandis. It was in 2 parts, made for television. This is my favorite one of the 2 made. Loved it. Very well done. First part was about the kids. Second part was the adults. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next, another Stephen King. Misery, with the great Kathy Bates as this very crazy fan of an author. She saves him from an accident, but ends up keeping him hostage till he finishes the book the way she wants it to end. Very disturbing movie. I don't know what Stephen King was thinking when he wrote that one, but I can imagine his fears. Next up is Kevin Bacon. I used to watch this one a lot when I was younger. For some reason, I thought it was from the 80s. It's Tremors. The really big sandworms, even though they look like sand anacondas. But I enjoyed this one a lot when I was younger. They made a crap ton of sequels for this one as well, which I haven't seen. I've seen a couple of them, but not all of them. But the first one will always be my favorite. Next up is a sequel. Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. This was one of my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movies because it showed more of the history of Freddy Krueger. And I liked that one a lot. Alice Cooper, Roseanne Barr. It had a really good cast, but mostly for Freddy, of course. Another sequel. This is Edward Furlong this time. Alright, this is a sequel to a Stephen King movie, Pet Sematary 2. This is actually my favorite of the Pet Sematary movies, because it had Edward Furlong and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards plays his dad. Edward Furlong's mom was an actress who died on set. So, of course, Edward Furlong decides to bury her. Anyway, all hell breaks loose, of course. Clancy Brown plays his friend's dad. I really like Pet Sematary 2. I haven't seen this one in years. I might have to go look for it. Ali Sheedy's next. Man's best friend. She gets a dog. Dog's just... If you ever want to see a dog climb a tree, watch Man's Best Friend. So she spends the movie kind of trying to protect her dog. It's a very good movie. Edward Furlong again. This time, he plays a teenager. His parents, I believe, died in a car accident. So he's by himself. He's obsessed with horror movies, horror games. He gets hold of this game called Brain Scan. It's kind of virtual reality where he commits murders and stuff. Then he realizes the murders are actually taking place. This was a really good movie. Very graphic, I guess. Like at one point he saws off someone's foot as a souvenir because that's the objective of the game. And it actually shows him doing it. Freddy Krueger again. This time, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I like the premise of this one, okay? I love the movie because Freddy Krueger comes out in the real world to go after the people from the movie, like Nancy, Robert Englund. The only downfall of this movie for me was the poor kid who played Nancy's son in real life. Terrible actor, very annoying, but that's just my opinion. But I really like this movie a lot. Like the way it was done. Up next was Nev Campbell, Fruser Bulk, Skeet Ulrich in The Craft. They recently made a sequel to this that did not live up to the original at all. But I really like the craft about the outcast that practice witchcraft. And they're looking for the missing piece, but turns out to be Neve Campbell when she moves to town. I had actually forgotten that Neve Campbell and Skeet Ulrich were in this together, because they're in a movie later too, which is on my list, but you have to wait for that one. So I liked The Craft a lot. It was one of those movies where I didn't care for it the first time, but upon rewatching, I liked it more. The last movie for this video, at number 11, is the great Michael J. Fox, The Frighters. He plays Frank, a guy who sees ghosts, so he kind of uses it to his advantage to, like, clear your house of ghosts, but in reality he's working with them. Then people start dying in town. I love Michael J. Fox. I love this. I find this one to be a very underrated movie from the 1990s. When I hear people talk about Michael J. Fox in his movies, not very many people mention The Frighteners. So if you haven't seen The Frighteners, find it and watch it and let me know what you think, because I liked it a lot. So as a recap, 20 to 11. Tune in next time where we count down 10 to 1, ending with the most recent from the 1990s. Let me know your favorite horror movies from the 1990s below. I had forgotten how good the decade was for horror movies. Thanks for watching, movie fans.